Listening is a two-step process. The first step is to look and hear. The second step is to check and analyze. Let's look at Julie and Jeff. Jeff is helping Julie to finish a job. She's now asking him about it. Can you guess what Jeff's reaction will be? It's impossible to tell whether Julie is sending out a positive or negative message. What do you think are the reasons? Let's look at them again from another angle and see if we can get a better picture.
Have you finished the job yet? Have you finished the job yet?
We get a better picture when we can look at and hear Julie's verbal and nonverbal signals. From these signals, Jeff can then check and analyze the message and respond to Julie appropriately. Misunderstanding can occur when the two steps are missing or incomplete. Here are a few tips to avoid it. To be a good listener, we need to be aware of barriers that can disrupt the listening process. These barriers can be mental and physical. Mental barriers are things inside the mind that interfere with our listening. We need to be open-minded and stay open-minded throughout the listening process. We should also set aside our own assumptions, emotions, and prejudices so we can absorb the whole message. Let's look at Bill and Debbie. Debbie's trying to explain to Bill how she thinks they can finish the job in 2 weeks. What do you think is preventing Bill from listening? Bill doesn't actively listen to Debbie because he's too occupied with prejudices and thoughts and waiting to argue with her. Now let's look at Henry. Paul just told Henry that he would be working at the front desk even if Henry had other work to finish. Understandably, Henry is not exactly happy about this situation. Guess what is on his mind when he greets Sue?
Good morning. Can I help you?
Yes. I'm here to have my car serviced. I booked it in a week ago.
It is not a good morning for Henry, is it? Do you think Henry can help Sue while he is still thinking about his own problems? Another type of listening barrier is the physical barrier. It includes distracting things in the environment where communication takes place. This is Chuck. You are listening to him. What do you find distracting in this environment? In this topic, we have learned that listening is a two-step process which involves look and hear and check and analyze. There are two types of listening barriers, mental and physical. To be a good listener, we need to remove or overcome these barriers. As a listener and active participant, we can encourage the flow of communication by welcoming the speaker, letting them know that we understand their message, and acknowledging their feelings and concerns. To do that, we'll need to use listening feedback, which can be verbal and nonverbal. We'll also need to empathize with the speaker. To empathize is to put ourselves in someone else's shoes so we can acknowledge their positions, feelings, and concerns. Bill, Debbie, and Chuck are in a meeting. Let's look at their verbal and nonverbal feedback.
I've been looking through the local college brochure. I found a couple of evening courses I'd like to do.
Really?
They have a bookkeeping course on Monday and a computing course on Wednesday. These two will be very handy. I can then help both of you more with the paperwork.
I see. So you're interested in bookkeeping and computing?
Yes. What do you think? As long as it doesn't affect you two if I have to leave a little bit early to go to classes.
You said evening. What time does it start, exactly?
6 to 9. They go on for 6 months. Pretty intense, huh?
Yes. Let's see if I get this right. You'll have to leave early on Monday to go to a bookkeeping class, and Wednesday to a computing class.
That's right.
That's okay with me. What about you, Debbie?
When listening to Bill, Chuck uses different types of verbal feedback to encourage the communication flow and help him check his understanding.
I've been looking through the local college brochure. I found a couple of evening courses I'd like to do.
Really?
Chuck uses an acknowledgement remark to let Bill know that he has Chuck's attention.
They have a bookkeeping course on Monday and a computing course on Wednesday. These two will be very handy. I can then help both of you more with the paperwork.
I see. So you're interested in bookkeeping and computing.
Chuck repeats the essential part of the message. It gives him time to think and gives Bill a chance to check that the message is correctly heard.
Yes. What do you think? As long as it doesn't affect you two if I have to leave a little bit early to go to classes.
You said evening. What time does it start, exactly?
6 to 9. They go on for 6 months. Pretty intense, huh?
Chuck checks his understanding by asking Bill to clarify the time of the classes.
Yes. Let's see if I get this right. You'll have to leave early on Monday to go to a bookkeeping class, and Wednesday to a computing class.
That's right.
Chuck summarizes the most important point and confirms it with Bill. Now let's look at nonverbal feedback. Consciously or not, both Debbie and Chuck are sending out very different nonverbal feedback. Whose feedback do you think encourages Bill to keep communicating? We learn about mental and physical listening barriers. The most difficult barriers to overcome are mental barriers. We tend to hear what we want to hear and play deaf when it comes to something we don't like. Empathy can help us to avoid selective hearing. To empathize with someone is to see the situation from their point of view. It requires good listening skills, which include an effective use of verbal and nonverbal listening feedback. Remember, we can empathize with someone even if we do not agree with them. Can you recall the conversation between Henry and Paul this morning? It could have had a much better outcome if they had actively listened to each other. We now know that active listening involves using listening feedback and empathy. What do you think Henry and Paul can do to improve their listening skills?
Hey, Henry. We need your help at the front desk. Jake, Peter, Michael, they're all sick. I can't believe it.
I'm tied up here, Paul. There's no way I can help you right now.
Look, we don't have anyone else.
But I have a job to finish here.
I'm sorry, but this is more important. I'll see you at the front desk in 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
No wonder Paul feels Henry is giving him the cold shoulder. What do you think Henry can do to improve his nonverbal feedback? Now, let's use empathy to see the situation from both Henry's and Paul's points of view. What suggestions can you think of when you see both sides of the situation? Let's try out one of the suggestions and see how Henry and Paul can use verbal feedback to show empathy and encourage the communication flow.
Hey, Henry. We need your help at the front desk. Jake, Peter, Michael, they're all sick. I can't believe it.
Really? That's terrible. I'd like to help you, Paul.
Henry acknowledges Paul's situation and frustration.
But I'm tied up here. This car has to be ready by tomorrow afternoon. I'm in the middle of repairing the engine.
How long do you think it'll take?
Probably a day or so.
Paul asks Henry to clarify his message about the engine repair.
That's no good. Is there anything anyone else can help you with? Sam is in today.
Yes, he can help me do a few things while I'm at the front desk. I can check on him every now and then.
That sounds like a good idea. I'll see you at the front desk in 5 minutes, okay?
Paul acknowledges and compliments Henry on his suggestion and offer to help.
Right. I'll go talk to Sam now. Could I have some time to clean myself up?
Henry repeats the essential part of the message that Sam will be helping him.
Okay. See you in 15 minutes then.
Paul concludes that Henry will be working at the front desk in 15 minutes. In this topic, we have learned that a listener is an active participant in the communication process. We can encourage the communication flow by sending out both verbal and nonverbal feedback and showing empathy so we can understand the speaker's feelings and concerns.